Alrighty, what is going on, guys? Today we are going to be taking a look at Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 1. This is going to be my review of the entire season, overviewing everything that happened in it and my opinions. And I've done one of these every single season since Chapter 2 Season 7, but this one's going to be a little bit different because I think I have a little bit of a different outlook on this season compared to some of the others. I'm going to give the ups and the downs. I'm going to go over things like the battle pass and the loot pool and the map and, the usual if you've watched these videos before. But if not, I have an entire playlist of these on my channel if you want to go back and watch those. And I've just been trying to improve them every single time I've made them, so hopefully this one will be the best. But yeah, I'm not going to waste your time. You get the gist of it. Without further ado, this is Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 1 reviewed by me, Cadestro9. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Alrighty, now per usual, the first thing I'm going to go over is the battle pass, just because it's a little bit different from everything else in the season. It's purely cosmetic, but it's also a very big part of the game. So the battle pass this season was actually really solid. Now we had something different with this one than the ones in the past. We've actually had a unique tier 100 skin for the first time in like a year and a half. So that is absolutely fantastic, and I'll get into that later. But first off, we're going to start this battle pass off by talking about Celine. Celine is an absolutely fantastic skin, and you can see me wearing it in the gameplay of this video. They take that stereotypical vibe of like the punk girl with tattoos and stuff, and they actually made a really nice, clean skin out of it that's not boring like the other ones, and she's got some really, really nice edit styles. I'm not as big of a fan of that like moon version of her, but overall, I really, really enjoy this skin. Now, the next skin is Masai, and honestly, he's too fruity. Like, what else do you want me to say? That's about all I have for this skin. And next up, we have Doom Guy. Oh my gosh, they put Doom Guy in Fortnite, and they gave him a music pack, but that wasn't part of the battle pass. But oh my goodness, this is like a dream come true. And his proportions are a little bit awkward for Fortnite, but I think overall he fits pretty well for what they were given. And he has, once again, just like Celine, he has a lot of edit styles that make the skin just even cooler. And honestly, this is one of my favorite skins in the entire battle pass. Absolutely fantastic collab, and I'm very happy that he was at the spot he's in instead of tier 100, just because I think it fits better. Then we have Dusty. Now, I've tried to give Dusty a chance. I hate her original style, but like I'm not opposed to like the styles with the like cape and the mask and stuff, but overall I just don't think I enjoy it very much. I really did try to give this skin a chance, but honestly, it's just not my favorite. I don't understand the whole like zombie baseball theme, and just not my favorite skin overall. And next up we have Halsey. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I've worn this skin once, but it's not a bad skin. It's just kind of a boring skin. So she has some pretty cool edit styles, and I really like how she looks with the super styles. But I don't know, I just haven't ran this one once because she's just mid. She's right in the middle. Not a bad skin at all, but not one that attracts me necessarily to want to wear it. So I haven't worn her, and I don't plan on wearing her, but that doesn't mean it's a bad skin. I just think I have 150 some other skins that I like and would rather wear than her. So, just a mid kind of boring skin, but not a bad one necessarily. I just haven't ran her. And now we have Nezumi. Now, this skin's colors are really nice. They are absolutely fantastic, especially that mid-season drop style. Absolutely fantastic. The only issue, the proportions of the skin are so goofy. Okay, my man, which I thought was a girl for the longest time, but my man looks like a freaking ball of lard. He looks like a ball of yarn. He is a circle. He is a straight circle with a bunch of puffy clothes on, and it does not fit at all whatsoever. It looks super, super silly, and I don't think I've ever seen one good player wear this. So honestly, Nezumi, not a skin that I've worn more than once, and I only did it as a joke. I am not a fan of this skin. Now, we have to get into the best skin in this battle pass, the best skin we've had in a while, the Ageless. Now, whether it's Geno or not, I don't really care because this skin is fire. So first off, you start with his normal, like less dressed up style, which already looks extremely clean. Absolutely fantastic, and I honestly think looks better with the super styles than the fully upgraded style, but this one's sort of like your Midas, you're sort of like leaner, simpler skin for people who don't want something over the top, and it looks absolutely fantastic as is. But then you get into the Ageless Champion, this knight, and this super unique armor with this awesome color scheme. They did a perfect job at not only fitting him into the theme and storyline of the season, but making him look so cool. This is my favorite skin we've had in a while. And the fact that it is the first unique tier 100 we've had is absolutely fantastic. So this skin is way above the rest. Even though I do enjoy Celine and a couple others, this skin is absolutely fantastic. Now, last but not least, we have The Witcher, and although his new edit style is really lame, I think the general idea of having The Witcher, another video game collab, as the secret skin for a season about medieval things is perfect. They could not have fit him in any better, and once again, just like Doom Guy, because he does come from another game, his proportions look a little bit weird, but not weird enough that I think it's a bad skin. I think it's actually pretty cool. It's kind of boring, but it matches the theme of the season. Plus, it's another game crossover, and I always love getting crossovers with other games. So yeah, overall, I give this Battle Pass like a solid 7 out of 10. I know some of the skins are kind of boring. I don't think necessarily most of them are bad. There's just some of them that are kind of boring and kind of mid. But a lot of the other cosmetics besides the skins were really solid in this Battle Pass too. And I just think overall this was a pretty good Battle Pass. Not as good as the last one, but I mean, that tier 100 skin, man, it's hard to look at that and not say that it's one of the best because they knocked it out of the park. Next thing we're going to be talking about today is the map of this season, which personally, I'm disappointed. We had this almost promise of seasons combining, right? Maps fracturing, and you can see in my theories video from last season, all these crazy ideas about all 3 maps fracturing, and it would fit with so many leaks and so many storyline things. And then all of a sudden we had maybe the worst event ever, which made 0 sense and had 0 point, which ended up, funnily enough, with a season not about anything being fractured because there is not one single POI on this map from any of the chapters. Now, sure, there's a couple little things, like a couple little tiny spots and like items from chapter 3 on the map, but that's it. This map is completely new and completely unique. And if they were going to do a completely new and unique map, I am fully open to that. I think starting over and having something completely different is good, but not for this time, okay? Because of the theme of the event and everything, the theme of the season, it would have only made sense to have it be the total opposite, where almost nothing is completely new and it's just a bunch of things that are combined. But instead what they did was make this entirely new map, and this map is extremely different. Now, for starters, it's bigger, okay? I don't know why everyone says it's smaller. It seems so much bigger than the other maps, and it just makes it hard to traverse sometimes and a little bit hard to find people. I am not walking away with very many kills in any of my games this season, which is kind of disappointing. I am never able to find people, and I spend most of the game running around and trying to find people. Now, how do you find people? You have to land at a POI. Now, this map only has 9 POIs, and not one new POI was added this entire season, which is really disappointing because to make up for the lack of, space filled on the map because the map's so big, they had to make the POIs really big also, which means that everyone and their mother will be landing at every single POI. So unless you want to go to a smaller POI, such as maybe Breakwater Bay, you're going to be fighting multiple people or multiple teams every single time, and which makes you sort of resort sometimes if you don't want to have to die off spawn or have that risk. Sometimes you do really just have to land somewhere random. But the issue is that because there's nowhere to land, people do end up landing at these random places, which are really solid. I think they did a really good job at the little mini spots on the map this season. But, that's kind of your only option if you want to run into maybe 1 or 2 teams max, because everywhere else is going to be completely filled and completely crowded with people. And then you're going to fight off spawn, and then you're never going to see someone for the next 10 minutes of the game. And I just think that with what they were given, they didn't do the size right of the map, and they didn't do the POIs right for the map. Instead of just making a normal size map with normal POIs, they upped the scale of the map, and in turn decided it would be smart, understandably, to up the scale of the POIs. But instead of just adding a bunch of big POIs, they added less POIs because they were bigger, which still makes the map feel empty, which is really disappointing. Honestly, the map is maybe my least favorite part of this season, and it is kind of a bad map. It's not the worst. There's definitely some redeeming qualities, but it doesn't have that special Fortnite touch. It doesn't feel like a Fortnite map, which normally would be a good thing because of something new, but just the way that it was rolled out, this was not the chapter to do that in. I think chapter 5, right? Instead of taking the opportunity to have the whole fractured theme, they just kind of went off and did their own thing. And they did something that I did like, which is theme it, all right? They made the theme of the map like an actual season theme at the very beginning of a season, which is not common. Usually that does not happen. And honestly, it is exciting that they did that. And I love that we finally got a medieval themed season because I've been asking for one literally for 3 years. But here's the issue is that they didn't do it very well. They basically just copy and pasted every POI in every little spot. They took a castle and a few medieval buildings and they copied them and pasted them. And all the POIs feel the exact same. And all the little spots on the map that are supposed to be the redeeming quality also feel the same. So it's very repetitive. Everything seems way too similar. And honestly, I do not like this map. Like I do not like this map. I rate this map a 3 out of 10 because it has some cool spots, but it just doesn't have that Fortnite charm. It's very repetitive, and it also is very clear that it was not built for zero build. You know, I thought one of the reasons they would want to do a new map is to maybe touch some things up and make it for zero build, but it's with the amount of weird, rugged, jagged edges, it just generally does not work for zero build because if you get up on height, you have won the game. And guess what? There's barely any cover on this map. There might be a couple rocks out in the open, but most of the areas are completely flat, and whoever has high ground is just going to win the game every single time, and there's no strategy involved besides, okay, get in this spot, and there's no situational awareness needed to be had because if you're caught out in the open, there's just nothing you can do. So overall, this map is actually a bad map in my opinion. And I know some people enjoy it and might think that I'm rating it too harshly just because it's different. But this just was not the right time, and they did not roll it out well. And it's very repetitive, and it feels like I can't find anybody on it. And it's just not near as good as the map we had last chapter. So overall, I am not a fan of this map. Now the next thing I'm going to be talking about is the loot pool. Now actually, the loot pool was a redeeming factor of the season for the most part. I mean, first off, we have the Oathbound weapons, and I personally am a fan of the hammer. I know that sometimes they got a little bit annoying, and sometimes they can be a little bit frustrating to fight against when people are spamming them, but I think overall the hammer is an extremely unique weapon that is an absolute game changer, and honestly, I don't want them to remove it next season. I think the Excalibur is really cool. It's a really hard weapon to use, and I wish that the projectile traveled faster, but overall, once again, very unique weapon. That's really cool, especially for the people who are good with them. And there's a couple more items related to the theme of the season that I thought were good, like the Guardian Shield and the Eagle that were unique, but also didn't really have all that much use. So, you know, whatever. Now, in terms of the SMGs, I think they did a good job. The Uzi just sucks. Like, it's just a bad weapon. But the Twin Mag is a weapon that it's refreshing to not have an overpowered SMG be introduced into the game. And while I'm not while it's mid, like I'm not the biggest fan of it, I'd rather it be like okay than absolutely busted. But a gun that it actually is really good is the tactical pistol. This weapon is the best like all-around weapon I think we've ever had in Fortnite. Like even better than the old Scar, which we'll get to in a minute. But it is an absolutely fantastic weapon that you can use all around in most situations, and I think it is absolutely fantastic. And I'm very happy that they added this one, especially with the augment that gives you the mythic one. It's just a very, very solid gun that's not overpowered. Now, I do wish that they would have added snipers this season because all that was really left was a DMR, and the more people that get good with the DMR, the more annoying the game is to play because it is an annoying weapon to go up against. So, honestly, I wish they would have had snipers, but they did have the bows this season, which matched the theme better, so I at least understand it on that front. In terms of the rifles, the Red Eye, I do not like the Red Eye. Like, I really am not a fan of the Red Eye. I think that the MK, the Burst, and stuff were way better. And I think that the TAC AR, which they changed this season, is 10 times better than the Red Eye. And the new TAC AR is my favorite rifle in the game. I would have to say probably like a top 5 weapon now for me. Even though it used to be, it's just even better now. And I really love the changes they made to it with the red dot sight, but it's actually like easy to control, which I enjoy. But a gun that isn't easy to use is the Scar. The new Scar with the new bloom is extremely disappointing, and I'm very, very saddened to see that they would do something like that to such a staple of the game. I mean, now they've nerfed the pump and the Scar into oblivion. I don't understand what they're doing with that. The Scar didn't need a nerf. It was a perfect gun for all-round situations, kind of like the tactical pistol, and it was fine as is, and they nerfed it, and now it is not that useful. I don't understand why they would do that. No one was asking for the Scar to be nerfed. They just wanted the Scar to be back, which is very disappointing that they did that. And I didn't notice it at first until I started to realize I was having to tap fire. But even tap firing, it just seems like it is not as good. So unfortunately, they did kind of ruin the Scar. But I'm glad it's at least back. And in terms of the shotguns, the Maven sucks. The Maven is one of the worst shotguns in the entire game. It is just a filler weapon because they wanted to not have to unvault anything, so they added the Maven, which sucks. But the Thunder, my friends, for the first time in forever, they made a shotgun that is almost as good as the pump. I don't think it's as good as the pump, but because of its unique reticle and its range, even though it isn't the most consistent weapon, it is solid. It is a very good gun, and in the hands of a person who knows when to ADS with it, it is extremely strong. And I am actually very happy with this weapon, and I'm very happy that they made a gun. They made a shotgun specifically that is not supposed to be like the pump, but sucks. They made this one with a couple extra little gimmicks that's really cool, and it actually can take a fight against the pump in most situations, so I'm actually very happy with this. So the loot pool overall, it has some weird stuff. It has a couple issues, but I actually very much think that it is the best part of the season. There's definitely a lot of weird guns, and I just feel like I find a lot of useless guns off rip, which kind of makes the early games suck a little bit. But I think overall the loot pool this season is the best factor of it, especially in the heals category too. Like, they did a good job with the loot pool this season. The last gameplay feature that we're going to discuss in this video is augments. And I don't have a lot to say about augments besides that they're cool. I think that a lot of them are kind of filler, and I think they could do a better job at introducing more useful ones sometimes. But I think generally it is a good way to keep the game feeling fresh. It does add more of that RNG element that I know some people aren't a fan of, which sometimes I'm not a fan of, but I think that generally they are a really cool way to spice up the game and make it feel more unique from other seasons. So honestly, augments are a W addition to the game. Now, this game, going from Chapter 3 to Chapter 4, was switched over to Epic's new engine called Unreal Engine 5. Now, what this did was bring some of the most amazing and beautiful lighting and realistic graphics we have ever seen to Fortnite before, and that is fantastic. But what it also did was completely destroy the flow of the game. The amount of glitches this season is it's barely rivaled by another game, let alone another season of Fortnite. The fact that every single thing, every single movement feature, hurdling has been gone basically the entire season. The fact that the hammers were glitched for so long, the fact that the Deku Smash had to be taken out when it was added to the game, the fact that nearly every single item has had to be taken out of the game when implemented and re-implemented after it's been fixed because every single thing has been glitched is unimaginable, okay? The game does not run anymore when I play, even creative, okay? I get shot through my builds, which is something that, sure, happened every once in a while, every once in a blue moon back, before. But now it's like every single fight, it's like every time I lose, it feels like I'm being shot directly through my builds or from an angle that's not there, or I blank somebody, or I try to shoot somebody and my game freezes, okay, or my FPS drops. The game does not function, the game does not run, it does not work. There is a reason I have spent most of my time this season playing Apex Legends and not playing Fortnite, because I'm not enjoying Fortnite, because I can't play it. When I try to play it, when I try to get into it, and I die for a stupid reason because the game doesn't work and my game is glitched, or someone else's game is glitched, or I get shot straight through a wall and I die, or someone jumps through a ramp and then I try to cone them off and they jump through the cone. So then I try to build a wall and they jump through the wall and there's just nothing I can do. It is so frustrating that it pushes me away. So honestly, I don't think it was worth it for them to switch over to this new engine if the game barely even functions anymore, which is one of the reasons I do not think highly of this season, because even when I try to get back into it, it doesn't work and I die for reasons that are not my fault, which is frustrating. And along with that, the updates this season have been completely boring. If you compare Chapter 3 Season 1 to this season, we got so much in terms of storyline and we got so much in terms of map changes and loot pool changes throughout the season that it felt like a completely different season by the end of that season, and it built up very strongly to the next season. Okay, this season, and I'm saying season a lot, but this season, it's like, wow, there is no build up for next season, and we kind of just have this random storyline thrown in there that doesn't make any sense, that doesn't resemble anything we've had in the past before, and there's been no POIs or anything. Like, it's just like they barely added a few weapons, which is cool, but to have a season that drags on this long and not fill it with updates that are strong, that rhymes, it's completely throwing off the whole pacing of the game, and it's made things feel so slow and so boring, and it feels like I've been playing the same game for 3 months. The only thing that redeemed it was the cool little heist mini event they did. The second they took that away and all the loot pool and guns and stuff that came with that, it just felt boring again. And I don't understand why they haven't been updating it that much, but it really is disappointing, and overall just contributes to the lack of content this season and the reason that I do not view this season very highly. So after giving the map a 3 out of 10, the loot pool a 7 out of 10, and the battle pass a 7 out of 10, I'm going to go ahead and rate this season overall a 5 out of 10. I think with other factors in place, such as the updates and the glitches and just the general, lame vibe of this entire season, I cannot rate it anything above a 5 out of 10. It has not been a good season. It hasn't been the worst season ever. I don't think it is a horrible season, but I do think it is a bad season. I don't think this is a good season of Fortnite, and I really, truly do hope that the next season delivers on what this season couldn't. And I'm not going to do a theories section because so much has already been spoiled for next season. Like, everything's been leaked to everybody that I don't know what theories I could possibly give that haven't already been put out there. But I hope that this season, which is supposed to be like futuristic themed, and season 9, the whole Neo theme season, was my favorite season of all time. So I'm hoping I'll like it. I just hope it'll be hype and we'll break this stale sort of season we're in with Fortnite, as where Fortnite does not look, does not feel, and does not play like Fortnite, which I hate, and I want to go back to other Fortnite. This season has been so boring that it's made Chapter 2 look super appealing to me, and I was not a fan of Chapter 2. So hopefully that the next season is better, but yeah, this season's a 5 out of 10, and I wish that it was better. And I did like it at the start, but as soon as I explored everything and realized it was all kind of the same, it got boring. So yeah, overall 5 out of 10 for this season, and I hope that next season is better. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. If you made it to the end, honestly, I wasn't really looking forward to making this video just because I knew I wasn't going to have a positive outlook on it, but I think now that I've made it, I'm proud that I can put this opinion out there, even if it's not the most popular one, because I do know a lot of people enjoyed this season, but I also know a lot of people didn't enjoy it, to be fair. So yeah, either way, thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you guys if you made it here. Please subscribe. I'm trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which I think is a very possible goal. And yeah, hopefully I will be making more Fortnite content next season, and it'll be more enjoyable than this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.